that's it. TATINOF happened, and now it's over. Well, let me just say a few things about the show. When Stan and Phil came out, like, it was screaming like crazy. Once it died down, they started the show, and they revealed a lion and llama at each end of the stage, and then they mounted it and did some chatting on. Dan also had to give us 3 facts about Chicago. It's in Illinois. Kanye and Obama were born here, and I forgot what the 3rd one is, but it was funny. So Dan was trying to figure out what they were doing here and how we all got here. So he went to tweet about it, but his phone was a Nokia instead of an iPhone. So Phil revealed that he microwaved his laptop and the internet had exploded into reality. So there was no internet, and Dan said, "Excuse us for having a bit of a domestic." It was super dramatic, but I really loved the concept of the storyline. So they left the internet, and we, the fans who were at the show, were the comment section. So Dan was like, "Oh, if I report them, do they eject from their seats and fly into the ceiling?" And Phil's like, "That might be murder, so maybe not." So Dan's like, "Maybe we should find a way to return to the internet," but Phil's like, "Try new things." So Phil started singing, and Dan cut him off saying that, "Please don't." So they decided to decide what they did the 7-second challenge. So the challenges were fan submitted, so I don't think this is technically a spoiler because it's unique to each show. So Dan started off by making a rap about Chicago. Chicago, Chicago, it's the best home of Obama and Kanye West. Followed by Phil dabbing 5 times, which was an experience on its own. Dan had to name 4 dinosaurs. Phil reenacted Romeo and Juliet. Dan did an interpretive dance of the last Harry Potter book, and Phil reenacted Dan's first video, which was beautiful. So it was a tie, so the all or nothing was Dan had to turn into a whale and swim across the room, and since he couldn't do that, Phil got to do Phil got to do what he wanted. So Phil said he's called Amazing Phil because he wanted to be a magician. So Phil got to be the Amazing Phil and did some magic tricks, which was super cute. He's like an old-fashioned magician, like lots of like hand tricks and everything, and it's like really cute. And he didn't really talk throughout it, and Dan was being sarcastic. He's like, witchcraft, get a witch, get away from me. But it was really cute. And then he made Dan disappear on a box, and Dan came back with llama legs. So Dan had to try to get rid of the llama legs and find where his real legs were. So he went backstage for a bit, and Phil took over, and he kicked the microwave, and then he started doing the weird kid stories. So he told some of his stories, and then the fans got to submit their own stories, and then Dan came back and Phil left to not fix the microwave because when he kicked it, it kind of exploded. So then Dan went to do Uncle Dan's Internet Support Group. So Phil came back with a shopping cart after Internet Support Group, and the shopping cart was full of all of the arts for Crafty Corner, and at the end of Crafty Corner there was a pop-up fan art book, and it had censored art. So Dan ran off the stage like, no, that's it with this reality, I'm going back to the internet. If we came through the microwave, we can come back home through the microwave, whatever. So he smacked the buttons, and out came an old Dan and Phil for Phil is Not on Fire in the Future. So there are these little old gray-haired men drawing whiskers on their face, talking about their futuristic things, and then they were told to set their hips to twerk mode. And oh my god, Dan pointed his butt at my side of the crowd and started twerking, and then Phil died twerking, so Dan had to drag him back into the microwave. So once they got back to 2016, Dan had an existential crisis about the fact that all their future was going to be is making videos. So he was lying face down on the floor like the little squish he is, and I died because Phil sat down and he's like, let's talk it out. And support of Phil Lester is golden Phil Lester. So then there was live action fan fiction. It was narrated by a female voice, and then it was like those choice books, if you know what I'm talking about. You get to choose what happens next in the book. So it was like, are Dan and Phil pirates or cowboys? Do Dan and Phil go to a party or camping? And then, do Dan and Phil get a delicious cake, or Phil draws Dan like one of his French girls? The obvious choice. Titanic music started playing, and it was hilarious, and I loved it, except for the crazy fangirls who wouldn't stop screaming. So I didn't hear the bit where the narrators were talking about Phil touching something, so Dan was like, nope, and he snatched all the props and shoved them back into the microwave. So then there was a flash of light, and electric sounds. That makes sense. And Phil started walking like a robot, saying he had no control over his body. And he walked over to the microwave and got a bowl of these paper plates. And then Dan started walking like a robot too. And then the narrator was like, should Dan and Phil do the dishes or do the dishes? So they started throwing plates into the audience. So it was really funny. And then they're like, what's going on? Who's controlling us? Blah, blah, blah. And then the whole room went black. And then back to the end of the audience, Dill comes out. Like, audience members were like bowing at him, and like he walked towards the stage and like got up. He had bunny slippers and everything. It was so legit. So he said that he was getting revenge on Dan and Phil for sending him on awful dates and making him clumsy, and that they better not mess with him and Teabag. But then he got really serious and told them that they had nothing to worry about, because Dan had nothing to worry about his future and what impact he had on the world. Because, I mean, if you look at the tour, all these people came out because of something he created. And I mean, you know, that's just big. And it's like, he matters. What he does and who he is and his future matters to us and Dill. And then he said to Phil, and like I actually cried at this part, that Phil shouldn't have to feel like he's not good enough, and that he doesn't have to be the amazing Phil because we love him just for being Phil. Cried. So Dill said he put the world back to normal when they want it or whatever, and they needed to go back in the microwave, and we were like, no, please don't leave, we don't want this to be over. So then Phil's like, we should end this on a good note, so he stood in the spotlight and started singing. Okay, that boy is amazing. His singing is like phenomenal. I couldn't really make out the lyrics because everyone was screaming, but then Dan joined in when he sang, and it'd be better if I could do it with a friend. And then the spotlight lit up on Dan, then he's like, I guess I'll go into, and then they all went to the back of the stage while a show tune started, and they put on sparkly top hats and like these vests with tails with red, white, and blue stripes and stars and the whole nine, and they danced and sang, and I was just impressed. I was so impressed. I was just they both really sang very well. Dan looked like he was really enjoying himself, and his hair was like curling because it was sweaty, so hobbit hair. So the song was about the internet and how life online was great. Definitely like 5,000 out of 10 would buy on iTunes. And then that was it. It was an hour and 10 minutes long, and I loved every second of it. Like, Dan and Phil put so much effort into this show, and they could have literally just come to the theater, done a Q&A, taken selfies, and been done with it, and I would have been satisfied, to be honest. But no, they went out with this full theatrical thing with a storyline and just bits and pieces that, like, if you blinked, you missed it. And it was just amazing. Like, you know, it deserves a Tony. I'm not sure if that's the proper award. I'm not a theater stan or anything, but you know, it's like whether you were a Dan and Phil fan or you were just a parent coming with your kids, like everyone really enjoyed the show, and you could definitely tell Dan and Phil enjoyed it too. It was amazing because they've created the show for us, and like if you're on the fence about going, definitely do it. It was so worth it. Don't worry about if you're too young or too old. I mean, like, I saw a 4-year-old kid with cat whiskers and a Dan and Phil shirt, and I saw a 50-year-old grandma with cat whiskers and a Dan and Phil shirt. I mean, they've created this for us, and it's amazing. But if you can't go, don't air. They're not coming near you or anything. They did say during the show they are filming the tour, so eventually everyone is going to see why, you know, like the show and everything. I think they're going to post on their channel or something. But you know, everyone is going to get the chance to see it because it's purely amazing. I'm gonna try to find my soul because I think I left it at the show. Yeah, this was the best. I like, to steal a quote, this is the most fun I have ever had. So, thank you, Dan and Phil.